You're welcome to my channel where we talk about the latest in the world of sports. My name is Jide. Today we'll be talking about Simon's Jordan interview with Deontay Wilder and, of course, Derek Chisora. Today, there are lots of things that came up on the internet that we listened to, that I saw as a person, as a freelance sport journalist, and which I need to, as a follower of boxing, it would be nice to chip in my own perception about the whole thing. And one thing I want us to talk about really is, what do you feel that what Simon Jordan did was right? Somebody came to your station for an interview about a forthcoming fight that's going to be held on the 4th of April, of course, in '02. And when he got there, whilst you are interviewing this personality said, you mentioned a name which Wilder has fought before in the past, which he has lost to, and he told you categorically that he doesn't want to talk about that. So I would have felt that since this person Wilder said doesn't want to talk about that, Simon should have just move on to another thing. Somebody came to your station, and Simon went ahead to now said, okay, that it's been a while that he had wanted to discuss this with Deontay Wilder, saying that the last time he was at the station, that is when Deontay Wilder was at the station, Simon was not available during the interview. So one would have thought that Simon, being one of the veterans in this interview, would have been like, okay, when this chance come up, maybe a fight between himself, that is Deontay Wilder, and Tyson Fury, you will have brought up this topic. It shouldn't have been between whilst they came onto the station to come and promote the fight between Deontay Wilder and Derek Chisora. At the end of the day, the whole interview was not achieved. Simon shouldn't have pressed forward because Deontay Wilder told him categorically that I don't want to talk about this. This is something that you should have just left and just let it go. I would have thought, again, being a journalist myself, one would have thought that you can't do when the person you are interviewing said, oh, I would rather not discuss this with yourself. It's something that happens from time to time. It's a topic that people want to talk about, that at the end of the day, you bring out. I felt that Simon was passively aggressive. And that's a fact. Because when somebody tells you that I don't want to do this, you have to stop the thing that you're progressing on, or the topic you want to treat, and move on to another thing. I would have thought that that's what Simon was going to do. At the end of the day, Deontay Wilder said he doesn't want to talk about Tyson Fury's fight. That he has his reasons. He doesn't want to talk about it. He came here to discuss the fight between himself, Deontay Wilder, and Derek Chisora. That's what Simon's supposed to discuss with him. But he kept hitting on Deontay Wilder. And that was a trigger for Deontay Wilder. Let's even come to this. Let's assume now that Deontay Wilder was able to have a swing at Simon. Simon will have sued him for assault. And again, at the end of the day, Wilder may get his license suspended. Shouldn't be fighting out of the ring. But it was so provocative, and it was shocking when on the interview, whilst listening to Simon was saying that that it was just a small provocation. Well, how do you measure small? Provocation is provocation. You don't do things like that. It's wrong. Let's call a spade a spade. Simon shouldn't be doing what he did. There are lots of things. There are lots of guests or people comes on, and at the end of the day, Simon just the way he interviews them, it's shocking. Sometimes it's shocking. Must there always be a provocation? Must you always be the one that when people come to your station, you have to have altercation with all these people? Even a fighter, this person came all the way from the US. Derek Chisora went to the US. Nobody provoked him. And this person came down to the UK to come for this interview, to come for the promotion of this fight. And you invited him to your station only for him to get bullied. That's the way I saw it. He got bullied. A sub-2 way of bullying people, of aggression. You can't be doing that. You can't do that. So I feel that when Deontay Wilder said he doesn't want to talk about this, Simon should have just let it go, and that's a fact. And what prompted the white privilege thing? I think people are getting this wrong. People don't really understand what this guy is saying. He may be a boxer. He may not be a very good when it comes to expressing himself. He may not be good in expressing himself. Some of these great fighters, they have people that does the PR thing for them. So what I felt that he meant when he said this white privilege thing was because he himself, he was saying that he has evidence that his drink was spiked during the fight with Tyson Wilder, that his drink was spiked, that he's got evidence that he's going to show it in a film. So what he was trying to say is that why is it that when someone of his race says something that people don't believe, but when somebody else of another race, especially the Caucasians, when they say things, people believe them, and that's why he said that is white. I don't want to say I don't want to say supreme. No, I don't want to call it that. But he has a point. Simon should have been like, let me listen to this and be able to hear him out. The thing will be justified. But people were not listening, especially Simon. Simon was listening to respond. As an interviewer, you listen. He's a veteran. Simon is a veteran. You listen to people, not you acting as a trigger. That is the white privilege thing that Deontay Wilder mentioned. It was because people were not listening to him, that him as a person, his race, being a black person, not just in the US, not just even in the UK, that as a black person, there are some privileges that the Caucasians enjoy better than other races. Whether they want to admit it or not, it's a fact that is stated. It's a fact that is stated. So when he said that, like I said, I would have expected Simon to be like, oh, is that what you mean by that? Oh, no, that's not what I meant. But the provocation just went on and on. And at the end of the day, like I said, was the interview achieved? No. I even felt somehow towards Derek Chisora because the guy sat down there listening to them. And I think after there was a video that came up again where Chisora was saying that he told Simon that, Simon, don't ask this question. You shouldn't have asked this question. Simon now went on that because some other persons have asked that question, and you just felt that it's only the right thing to do. No, you don't do things like that. It's not the right thing to do. He said he doesn't want to dwell on that topic. Let it go. Let it go. I'm shocked that Simon pressed on, and at the end of the day, look at the way the whole interview went. So Simon was saying something about, oh, why should we be making that statement? Because Deontay Wilder stated that Fury cheated, that there are some followers that are following Fury that looked up to him as a world champion. Are we now saying that Deontay Wilder is not a world champion too? That people are not looking up to him? You don't make statements like that. You don't make statements like that, and it's a fact. Deontay Wilder even stated that if Tyson wants, he can sue him for defamation of character. That means this guy has something. Let Tyson sue him. Let Fury Tyson sue him. But no, that was not the case. That was not the case. When people are making statements or utterances, they should know that it goes beyond what they are saying. And I feel that this talk sports management need to call Simon to order. They should caution him. Guests, I've listened to some of his interviews. I mean, you don't have to play the devil's advocate every time. You don't have to. That you are the one that just cause things in the studio. You are the controversial one. Why must it always be like that? I'm, of course, I know that sometimes controversy do increase the rating. Yes, but this shouldn't be the case. And again, like I said, Wilder, from the look of things, is not necessarily a good speaker when it comes to things like this. I think he needs to have a management team that deals with his PR. They need to tell him, they need to train him on how to respond to provocative questions like this. Because this won't be the last time, because it's still going to come up again. It will come up over and over again because people will ask him questions. Why would you label such a strong allegation, against Tyson Fury? And it will always come up. His management needs to call him to order that you can't be. This is not the way you have to react to things. He practically got up, walked towards Simon. I was just being like, no. I'm just hoping that he's not going to have a swing. And it's a good thing that he didn't. And at the end of the day, he walked out of the studio, which left Derek Chisora on the seat. And at the end of the day, he got up, said he's going. And Simon said, come on, he's been waiting for him for a while, that he needs to grant the interview. The interview that they came for was never held. So I don't know what you guys feel about this whole thing. I'm sure I've been able to clear the aspect of him saying that they have white privilege aspect of it. Again, the white privilege thing that he stated was for the fact that he's a black person. People don't believe. People tend not to believe him as a black person. But once it's a white person that is making an allegation or a statement, people tend to listen more to them. That's what he meant. That's what he meant. And that was the trigger of why would. And again, one thing that I remember was when he made the statement of being a white privilege, Simon made a gesture, a kind of a funny gesture that really provoked the guy. If people go back to that video, what Simon was making, he was making something like that. That kind of response, which at the end of the day, be like, what do you mean? It was the reaction of Simon. Simon was a trigger and he provoked the guy. Like I said, how do we measure when you are saying that it was just a small provocation? And in another interview that I watched was saying he didn't provoke him, that he only asked questions. There are some people that have developed thick skin that no matter what you say, they won't say anything. And there are some people are different. That's just what I'm trying to say. Simon can't be saying what he said. It's so unacceptable. I don't know what you guys feel. That is my own perspective of what transpired in TalkSport Studio. It's something that went viral, and I feel that as an ardent follower of boxing, is something that I have to talk about. Once again, if you have not started following, please do give me a follow. My name is Jide Banwo, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until next time, bye.